Hey, Shalom Hakim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashmachak Kudash, the honors of the elders Apostle Great Millstone, the elders Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect. This is serious sermons of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serving in truth and sincerity. Yes, I'm the brother Chayaba from GMS Plaintables camp, coming back with another lesson to his spirit. So this lesson will be based off of this video, of course, from, it says, the channel GMS Tampa Bay. Of course, you know, the elder Ash from Tampa pretty much posted this video. Let me see if I can get the title.
I like to say it,
Well, I can't see the title, but let me see. Yeah, but pretty much what is Trump going into?
A little controversial, but
pretty much basically paraphrasing the videos entitled, "Trump is coming for you, Latinos. What for you, Negroes and Latinos?" And really, that's their goal. Obviously, we know Trump, which is narrow. 100%, we believe to be narrow in reincarnation. But ultimately, he's working for the elites. And we understand how Esau, starting with the elites, they want to do away with the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel, the real biblical Israelites being, of course, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos, according to the scriptures. When we get the curses, when we get the blessings, about pretty much what when the scriptures go into, about the Israelites, what they will go through, what the Lord, again, everything that's spoken about the Israelites links up onto our people. And as is prophesied within the scriptures, they want to do away with the nation of Israel, with the Israelites. That's why what they come hardest against our people. This whole place is designed first and foremost against our people, the whole system. That's why our people were financially at the bottom as a whole. By average, when you look at the yearly income, average yearly income, our people are at the bottom. That's for a reason. When you look at these court systems, they're designed against our people, giving favor for their people, Esau, so-called white man, to give favor onto their people, of course. And what we have no favor. The court isn't in our favor. And what just everything within the system, everything within this country, again, is designed against us. So let's go ahead and play this video without further ado.
I couldn't care less. We have a lot of bad, a little controversial, but I couldn't care less. We have a lot of bad criminals that came into this country, and they came in stupidly. It was an unforced error. It was an incompetent president that allowed it.
And hey, that's why you saw Roseman, but they like to stay ambiguous. You know, they don't like to be direct. Oh, you know, these Mexicans are coming into the country and we need to take them out. And
Happened. It was an auto pen maybe that allowed it to happen, and it did happen. But we also have a lot of bad people that have been here for a long time, people that whack people over the head with a baseball bat from behind when they're not looking and kill them, people that knife you when you're walking down the street. They're not new to our country. They're old to our country. Many of them were born in our country. I think we ought to get them the hell out of here too. You want to know?
I mean, hey, and the videos, okay, so Jose people, but again, when we look at the videos on the internet, we see that what's the so-called Latinos, which again, the Native Americans Latinos, so-called Native Americans Latinos, are the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel. What they went from, of course, they fled the Assyrian captivity. Of course, as we know, the southern kingdom and northern kingdom split. And the northern kingdom fled the Assyrian captivity onto the Americas. You can get that account in 2nd Ezra 13, verse 40 on down. So where they fled onto the Americas, and of course up until 1492, I mean, that's the main time when they got conquered. Christopher Colon came here, as known as Christopher Columbus. And what? Our people got overtaken, Northern Kingdom. Southern Kingdom later, of course. The bulk of them came here onto the Americas as slaves. But the point is that again, so these immigration videos, or these ICE videos you're seeing on the internet, they're going into, haven't seen one video about, because again, the only, the so-called Mexicans and the South Americans aren't the only pretty much immigrants here. You have immigrants from all parts of the world, man. Not just the South Americans and so-called Mexicans. But again, they're after our people first and foremost. These videos I see are concerning our people, ICE, for concerning ICE coming.
The truth. So maybe that'll be the next job that we'll work on together. But I think getting them out, we forget about them. We had some bad accidents in New York, and they're not accidents. Like to say.
Yeah, and their ultimate goal is to do away with the nation of Israel. And hey, it goes to show you not to put your trust into this place, man. No matter where you go, you shouldn't put your trust into any part of this world, man. Doesn't matter if you're on the other side of the planet from America. You live in this country, that country. The point is, you shouldn't put this world or your trust into this world. Because again, this isn't our rest, Micah 2 and 10. This is not our rest for us Israelites. We're not here to have the same pretty much, because right now the heathen are in a blessed state where, they have their own countries, they have their own land. But us, we're at the bottom. We don't have our main country, our main nation. As we know, the nation of Israel, which is now known as the state of Israel, is overtaken by Edomites, by Amalek, the chief tribe of the nation of Edom, who, they proclaim themselves to be the children of the Lord, which they're clearly not. They're counterfeits. And they're imposters. And ultimately they follow the Talmud. They don't follow these scriptures, man. That's why they have pink parades, they eat, creating abominable things such as so-called kosher pork. And, oral circumcision, they perform onto their children. So we know that these aren't the people, man. And, these underground tunnels, we already know about these reports. So those aren't the people. The point is that they want to do away with our people, man. And all the heathen want to do away with our people. It says, Psalm chapter 83:1, keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up their head. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. It's like you. Yeah, and that's the point. They are taking crafty counsel. Yes, as they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. And who are the Lord's people? The Lord's people are the Israelites. As we can get verse 4, it says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may no more be in remembrance. Exactly. So that's their whole goal, to cut us off from being a nation. So, yeah, these are the beginning steps, This ICE. Well, which this is something little compared to what they're going to try to do very, very soon. Again, martial law is coming. Different robots. We already know that they're preparing for military purposes. Also, to include into the martial law. Ultimately, what they want to do away with our people, the Israelites, because throughout any history, throughout all history, pretty much the Lord took our people out of captivity and then, our people kept on going off, and then the Lord put us back into captivity. But now, after, now that we are in the final kingdom, we're in the modern day Babylonian kingdom, which is America. This is the final kingdom. The scriptures say after this how, pretty much we're no more going to see captivity. Pretty much we're going to be rulers. And we're not going to go into captivity anymore. Why? Because the new covenant will kick in. The second covenant will kick in, which is going to be when we receive those new perfect bodies. The new minds and the new hearts and the perfect bodies hardwired in His law, statutes, commandments. So we're going to be 100% righteous. And we won't sin anymore, meaning we won't go off anymore. So the Lord won't have to punish us anymore. So obviously when we're in our 100% righteous state, the Lord won't have to put us into captivity anymore, meaning the heathen won't have any more rule over us. They won't have rule over us anymore. So this is the last captivity. The scriptures going through Babylon Great being the last captivity. We get the book of Revelation. We're going to how this is the final captivity, and the captivity where Yahushua will come back, or Yahushua will return to take down the heathen and to deliver His people. To deliver His people and to take down the heathen. So it says, Psalm chapter 83 and 5 says, "For they have consorted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." Yeah, they're confederate. They are in a league with each other. It says, "For they have consorted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee." Yes, so this is why they have these world meetings. But the talk of the Israelites are, in course, within their mouths. And without a doubt, they're watching the Israelites. Starting with Great Millstone. But the point is that they're watching us. Great Millstone, of course, the like-minded brothers. They're watching us. That's why they're setting it up where they can persecute us by demonizing us, by creating false, creating false events, or creating false things, putting false things in the news to try to hem us up and persecute us, which will happen. They will try to demonize us. Ultimately, they will demonize us. Put us in news, use AI to try to make us do, appear that we're doing things that we're not. This is all coming. It says, Psalm chapter 83 and 6, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. And it says, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites. It says, of Moab and the Hagarenes. Yeah, and Edom goes into the so-called white man. Ishmaelites goes into the so-called, of course, Arabs. Of Moab, so-called Chinese, Hagarenes. And when you get that, I believe. It says the people dwelling in the east of Palestine. It says a Hagarite or member of a certain Arabian clan. So the point is that the heathen, ultimately, the heathen are against us. It says Gabal and Ammon and Amalek. Yeah, we know Ammon, of course, so-called Japanese, Amalek being the chief child of the nation of Edom, being the small hats. It says the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Yeah, and it goes on further. So pretty much what the heathen are against our people. So again, these different world meetings, one of the conversations that they have or what to do away with the nation of Israel. And this scripture right here exposes that. Even though Esau does his best to hide it, we know that this is what they're doing. Because again, when you look at the whole world, the whole, how the system is designed is designed against our people. So that's not no coincidence. It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And 69, it says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach. Or, let's read verse 70. It says, for there should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. This was coming, as we know, we're in the end times. It's very, very close where all hell is about to break loose. Famine, pestilence, people invading one another. What? Sedition, anarchy at its climax. All of this is very, very soon. It says, for there should be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Where do you get that word for insurrection? Within a dictionary. It says a violent uprising against an authority or government. Ultimately what? Spiritually, spiritually speaking, we have authority over this people. Because as we have in the scriptures, there's many times where the Lord has made divine intervention for those who served him, and for those who fear him, and for those who do his will. So what? Of course, through the Spirit, we already know, and through what the scriptures say, we already know that our Lord is going to do the same thing in these times. So that's why Esau's going to try to come harder and harder, or Esau's going to try to come his hardest against our people. It says, verse 71, and they should be like mad men, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Yeah, and that's the point. So Esau's going to try to persecute, again, the Israelites, or persecute the prophets, and try to come up against those who fear the Lord. Ultimately, what the elect of the nation of Israel, it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in a fire. Yeah, so this right here shows that, again, the elect of the nation of Israel, there's not going to be no rapture. Again, Lord's going to have us have it where, what for these trials and tribulations, that we pass through it. But the difference is, it says, verse 74, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. Yeah, and that's the point. So, yeah, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So Yahweh Shai will make a deliverance for the elect, divine intervention, spiritual power. Certain men will receive spiritual power. Of course, us brothers, we hope to be a part of that. But what? Divine intervention, angels being sent. The Lord will create miracles, again, to protect us, keeping us fed, taken care of. That's all coming, of course, for the servants of Yahweh Shai, for the elect of the nation of Israel. The Lord will ultimately protect them. And then for the martyrs, because we know the scripture going to the martyrs, well, they're going to be the first ones with Yahweh Shai, the ones who die for the name of Yahweh Shai. But they're going to be the first ones of course, what? With Yahweh Shai. Of course, as he's making his return unto to deliver the rest of the elect. So, we already know again. So it's going to get a lot worse. Isaiah chapter 59 and 19, it says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, and it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. And the enemy, our main enemy, being Esau Edom, again, the so-called white man. He's our enemies. You know, saw him with the elites, but they're after our people. So it says when the enemy shall come in like a flood, because when you think about a flood, you know, you can't stop a flood. It just comes in and boom, you can't do anything. And then what that's going to be, that flood is likened onto Esau's armies. You know, his martial law, we already know it's going to be in martial law and pretty much the troops that he's going to send, that they try to get, again, the elect. It says, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him. Yeah. So what, we're going to be able, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, we're going to be protected from that flood. We're going to be risen up against that flood. Meaning what, we're going to have power over that flood. Meaning we're going to have power over Esau's armies. What, ultimately, his martial law. You know, whatever, however the Lord makes it go down. That's what's going to happen. Divine intervention. And that's our faith. That what, we're a part of that remnant. And, you know, we're a part of that, pretty much, that those select individuals that Yahweh Shai will have so. Because again, so is written, what the predestined, the elect will be taken care of. And this is how Lord will protect the elect. One of the many ways how the Lord make miracles and divine intervention for the elect. So again, that standard can be, again, it could be spiritual power. It could be the Lord sending angels. It could be the Lord sending, you know, pretty much another brother. Another brother with spiritual power to deliver you. The point is that divine intervention, that standard will come. It says, verse 20, Isaiah chapter 59 says, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression, and Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yeah, we know that Redeemer ultimately is Yahweh Shai. Ka'al, going into the Redeemer for his kinsmen. Of course, we know the Lord's kin is a nation of Israel. But more specifically right now, the Lord's, you know, who's going to receive salvation is going to be the elect of the nation of Israel. So that's the point. Ultimately, we know Yahweh Shai will protect the elect. You know, that's our main focus. That, you know, ultimately we're doing what of course we do what we do is pleasing unto Yahweh Shai, so that we make our calling and election sure. So that we're a part of that. Ultimately, you understand that the elect are predestined, but ultimately, we don't know if we are a part of the elect. That's why we do what the elect are said to be doing, which is to serve Yahweh Shai and fear him, and to do his will according to what the scriptures say. So I believe it's a point. Lord's will you blessed and edified. Yahweh Shai, Shalom.